Ascent of Forester Pass at 13,180 feet once again was on a remarkably well-constructed set of switchbacks through the rocks. Had lots of company on the climb to the top of the pass, as it seems that we are on the same pace and schedule as the pack train-supported JMT hikers. Climbed the 4.5 miles to the pass in just under 3 hours. Hooray!
Oh, the good life.
We have completed the climb of all 8 Sierra Crest passes of our trip. It was crowded at the top of the pass, so took our obligatory summit photo and began the descent. Descent was as bad as the ascent was good. 2,300 feet of carefully picking your way through a rock field. Took it very slow and easy, yet was still hard on the feet. After the descent, stopped at the Tyndall Creek Ranger Station to get the latest weather forecast. Great news! Cooler temperatures predicted, but no precipitation in the forecast anymore. Ranger Allison recommended a great campsite. On to Mount Whitney! Dick, not feeling well, has runny nose and upset stomach, hoping he will be okay after a good night's rest. Day 12. Broke camp and on the trail by 8 o'clock. Dick still not feeling well at all, having to make frequent dashes into the woods. Should be easy day with minimal elevation gain loss. Turned out there's more climb than we thought. Lesson: look at your topo maps very carefully. Climbed up the Bighorn, saw none, plateau, which is a barren, open area. As the sun came out, warmed up rapidly. Started to quickly shed layers. In the process, lost my stocking cap. Ironically, Dick, who was 15 minutes behind me, found my hat, tucked it away, only to have it fall out of his pack. However, in yet another bit of good fortune, he had found the stocking cap at our last campsite. We met Craig, a doctor from Minnesota, who was also doing the JMT, and the 3 of us hiked the final 2.7 miles up to Guitar Lake, the western jumping-off point for climbing Mount Whitney. It's located above treeline in a barren bowl, surrounded by the Mount Whitney Massif to the east and Mount Hitchcock to the west. By the end of the day, Dick feeling a bit better, but still not 100%. Joined by 2 other JMT hikers that evening, and swapped trail stories over dinner. The 3 of them planning an early 4 a.m. rise to start for summit of Mount Whitney. Too early and too cold for Dick and me. Dick awoke around 2 o'clock to see the headlamps of another pack train-supported group of JMT hikers making their way up to see sunrise from atop Mount Whitney. Day 13. Started the 2,000-foot climb from Guitar Lake to Trail Crest, the turnoff for the summit, on a very good trail up the Mount Whitney Massif. Kept leapfrogging a couple of kids in their early 20s from San Diego on the climb up. Gave them a spare AA battery for their camera so that they could capture the moment at the summit.
About 50% of the time, this is the view Brian and I were looking at. You've got a pack on your back and you're walking on rocky, fairly unstable terrain. It's about all you can look at most of the time.
Got to Trail Crest in just over 2 hours, took off our packs and hiked the final 1,000 plus feet to the summit at 14,498 feet. Sunny, crisp day, and can easily see to the West Bighorn Plateau, which we climbed just yesterday. To the east in the distance is a straight-on view of Lone Pine and the deep canyon where Whitney Portal is. There are a couple of alpine lakes in the foreground, completely surrounded by high, steep cliffs. Spectacular views whichever direction one looks. Lots of day hikers on top, easily identified by the Whitney access permit hanging from their jackets. Reminded me of the weekly passes ski resorts issue. Seems unnatural to see more than a few folks calling out on their cell phones.
Notice the lightning rods all over the Whitney hut.
Let's break out the boot.
Returning to Trail Crest, reluctantly put back on our packs for the descent to our last camp at Trail Camp on the east side of the Sierra Crest. As Dick and I looked down at Trail Camp, its very high elevation and generally unattractive setting, we said, "It's early. We feel energized. It's only another 6.5 miles to Whitney Portal, and we're out of toilet paper. Let's just go for it and complete our trip today." So at 1 o'clock started the 6,133-foot descent, and oh, what a descent. The first 2,000 feet covered 4 miles over mostly loose rock rubble, sheer rock face, and steps cut into the cliff. There was even one section where steel poles had been erected to get around the rock face covered in ice. Made our way down slowly and carefully through the rubble. Thankfully, the last 4.5 miles, the trail was good footing, and we reached Whitney Portal just after 6 o'clock. The totals for the day: 16.8 miles with 2,900 feet of ascent and 6,133 feet of descent. Drove back to Mammoth in the dusk of the evening, picked up my car at Duck Pass Trailhead, and got a room at the Sierra Lodge. After a quick but wonderful shower, hustled over to Angel's Restaurant, only to find it already closed. The only place still open was a pizza house. So, our first real meal back in civilization consisted of the huge green salad, a large house pizza, and a couple of Sierra Nevada beers. Day 14. Got a good night's sleep in a real bed. Feet are still a little sore. Leisurely finished our journals while enjoying the continental breakfast at the lodge. For folks who like numbers, our trip lasted 13 days, covered 156.3 miles with 28,614 feet of ascent and 29,629 feet of descent. A final note regarding bears. After all of our focus on bear-proofing our food on our trip, the only evidence of bears the entire trip was the ravaged trash can this morning in the Sierra Lodge parking lot.